Welcome everyone to the Calm Mind Podcast, and I'm here with the sick, the twisted, the disgusting, the revolting, the true Green 7, and he's literally green this week.
What the hell is that, Toby? That's not nice.
You said you were sick, and
I'm perfectly healthy right now. What the hell? That's just uncalled for.
What?
What's wrong with you?
You told me you were going to be coughing a lot, and that I've got a lot of editing to do this week because of the amount of coughs
that.
I've got to.
You think I've actually been sick the last week? I was just faking it, just so we didn't have to record.
What? You just didn't want to chat? You didn't want to hang out?
No, I don't like you, especially after that.
Well, now I kind of think that is kind of twisted, actually. You couldn't just be upfront with me. You couldn't just say, Toby, we're not recording this podcast anymore because the viewers have seen through me. They know I hate you. And now it's like too clear. Like the only person who doesn't believe that you dislike, that I dislike you think, is me. Because I'm just that gullible. Is that it? Is that where we're at?
I'm too sick for this.
You're sick. I knew it. I knew it.
You got me.
Everyone, Ron's ill this week. I would say give him well wishes, but by the time you listen to this, he'll be better. Although, if he's not better by the time you listen to this, really give him some well wishes, because that would be awful.
I'm gonna 100% be better by then. That's yeah.
You don't know.
That would be literally the worst illness I've ever had if I'm not.
No.
Listen, what sucks is that I always want to use this word that is in Hebrew. Like when you're bilingual, sometimes there are words that you use because they don't even exist in English. And one of them is this word Davka. I always want to use it, and like I just naturally use it, and it perfectly. It's like it's my favorite word, and I was going to use it right now by mistake, but then I realized, wait, you guys don't understand what that word means.
But you can teach
me.
And
I want to start using it, so I'll teach you. Actually,
yeah. What does it mean? What does it mean?
So, Davka literally means like exactly or precisely or
Davka.
like right now. It's like a word that it's like a mixture of right now and precisely, or not like right now, but like more like it's like the word specifically, but with spice, like as if like the world is trying to get you, or or
okay, I think
in the most inconvenient time, or like. So it's like
if someone was saying everything's going wrong, when it rains it pours, you go Davka. Like, is that like?
It's not like a phrase. No, you actually use it in a sentence. So it's like I got sick Davka when Scarlet and Violet are about to come out. Okay. Like. Yeah, so it literally is precisely or exactly.
I saw your brain working there just to make sure you said the right games. For those of you listening, before the show, and actually not just before this show, like just in general, whenever you're like referring to the upcoming Pokemon games, you'll always get the wrong games before you say Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah, I always say Sun and Moon, then I say Sword and Shield, and I'm like Scarlet and Violet, because they're all S's, and Scarlet and Violet is the only one that isn't like one syllable of all those things. So it's like, it's just harder to remember.
You're not the dyslexic one. I don't like, just admit.
I think that's completely different than dyslexia.
For 5 seconds that your brain may not be perfect.
Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't it ridiculous that dyslexia is like a kind of hard word to like say sometimes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's completely unreasonable, but they would make the name of the condition, syndrome, disease, I don't know what it is that I have, they would call it dyslexia. It's unreasonable.
It's like the word lisp having an S.
It's like horrible.
Or the fear of long words is a very long word. I forgot the word.
Yeah, it's
the phobia of long words.
Hippopotamus. Is there a word for when words do that? Like have dramatic irony or have like some kind of like... Yeah, I guess not dramatic irony, just irony. Like when a word is ironic in its existence. Is there a word for that?
Irony. This is why we should stream while we record, because a chat would be perfect for this.
Yeah, we were talking. I mean, you know this because you were there having the conversation with me. This was your suggestion.
It was my idea and I brought it up, yeah.
We should do this podcast live. And so I think from next week...
Not next week.
No, from an upcoming unspecified, undecided time in the future... We are going to try and do a couple live episodes and just see how that... And then allow for the people who are actually like here and subscribe to this channel, ask us questions live, And we're still trying to want to make it an amazing show for people who are listening on demand, but also to just reward the people who are going to show up. And it also just might make our lives a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was the issue that just happened there that wouldn't have happened if you were live is that I was directing that at the chat rather than at you, but the chat weren't here to respond because we're not live, so I just had a conversation with no one.
Yeah, like I already know this idea, so I can't really respond to it. But like,
what do you
the chat would have been like, "Whoa, we're live right now! That's
idea.
awesome!"
They would, and I think it's a brilliant. I was a little
Toby
apprehensive
spilled so much on his shirt right now.
Did you see
I
that?
saw that.
Again, this is another conversation with the chat that's not here. I just spilt quite a little bit of tea, but it didn't actually spill. It sort of did that thing where it sloshed in the air, and then gravity did what it does and brought it straight back down into the mug. I only got a little droplet on my little toe.
Specifically the little toe you had to.
It was on the big toe, but it was a little droplet, and I don't know.
Oh, your toes in general are little.
They are quite small, I suppose. I mean, relative to a giraffe, they are small.
Giraffe? I said giraffe. Giraffes.
Giraffe? Good lord, sir, you got giraffe?
I'm not allowed to say giraffe.
Goodness gracious. Are you having a giraffe, man, or what? Do you know that's a saying? Do you have that in the US? You having a giraffe?
No, we 100% don't have any animals.
Oh no, but like if you're like, are you joking? Are you having a giraffe? Do you have that in the US? I don't know.
No, that's very British sounding.
Yeah.
Maybe a gaffaff?
Are you having a gaffaff?
What's a gaffaff? That sounds very similar to like the situation. Gaffaff. If I spell gaffaff in Google, it's giraffe.
I'm gonna. This is a slightly intimate story. I've got a story to share because I had the funniest thing, and it's funny to no one but myself and Phoebe. But the funniest thing happened last night. So we go to bed, and for those of you who don't know, Phoebe's my partner, and we, despite being unmarried, out of wedlock, share a bed. He gasped.
Scandalous.
That's what I expected. And so we sleep in the same bed, and I usually go to bed before Phoebe, and last night I was gone. I was out of it. I was asleep. Phoebe comes in. She gets into bed. And I sort of instinctively go to put my arm around her and kind of snuggle her in. Be a big spoon and have her be the little spoon. And I just kind of like pulled her upwards a little bit. And she said, "Toby, stop pulling me upwards. Like my pajamas are falling off." And I don't know why, in my days of a brain, I thought this was the funniest thing. And I think I was like half awake, half asleep, just started giggling. And I went, "But if that happened, you'd have no clothes." And she went, "What?"
Yeah.
And then I just started laughing. And I was cracking up to the point of crying for like 10 minutes and then just stopped and fell immediately back to sleep. It's a complete giggle fit.
Like when you turn the lights off and like it's like like you're about to fall asleep, that's when you're like the most like
giggle already.
Giggly, yeah.
Yeah. It's such a non-joke. Toby, don't do that. My clothes will fall off. Yeah, but then you'd have no clothes. That was it.
Yeah, you laugh at the stupidest jokes when you're about to fall asleep.
Yeah. And I just cracked me up, and then I just immediately just went and I was gone again. But I love a good giggle fit. There's nothing quite like it. I think it's necessary for people to giggle. Do you giggle? Do you have giggle fit?
No, I never laugh.
That was it. That cough sound, that wasn't a cough. That was your giggle fit.
That was my
That's the one. That's it for the year.
We've been giggling this episode, I'd say, more than the average. Yeah. So, yes, I've literally giggled in front of you at least 3 times right now. And then you ask, do you giggle?
You started the show and just said, "Toby, be funny." And I... So the pressure's on. I got to be a top-tier comediano.
When you were telling that story, I thought you were going to call Phoebe a giraffe. That was the segue.
You having a giraffe? No. You having a giraffe?
Toby has a giraffe.
I just woke up in the morning. I was like, "Thanks for the laugh." And she's like, "You stupid. Go away."
The laughing giraffe.
The laughing giraffe.
Back to teaching you the word Davka and why I even brought it up.
Nah. That was ages ago. That was in the past. Move on. Go on. What's a why are you bringing up Davka?
So Davka got sick literally the week that I had to record like so many things more than the average week. For example, my video, then a collab that I'm doing with Joey Pokegame on his channel. So like, that's 2 videos already. Then the podcast. Then a voice that I'm recording for Loxton's series.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so I've been pushing all of that. I have to tell everybody, I'm sorry. We have to push these things off. And I'm scared that they're angry at me, but they're not.
It's not your fault that Davka's sick. That's what you said.
That Davka got sick.
You said
Like you
Davka
literally
got
use
sick.
it exactly like the word exactly.
Exactly.
Or specifically.
Precisely. That sucks. It's interesting. You mentioned Joey Pokegame, and Loxton, who I think we're hoping to have on the show very, very soon. Little nod, little reference for the viewers.
Unless he cancels.
In which case we've called him out very publicly now.
Yes.
I came up with a new YouTube strategy. Okay, and I want to run this by you. I watched this really cool podcast, interview between Mr. Beast and basically the guy at Google who knows the most about the YouTube algorithm, right? Have you seen this discussion? It's fascinating.
No.
Okay. The general gist is, forget about when asking yourself, what does the algorithm want? Just replace it with the words, what does your audience want? Because 9 times out of 10, it means the exact same thing, which is true. Yeah. I've thought that for a long time. What YouTube tells you about your audience is kind of scary. It tells you when they're online, roughly, as not like individuals, like to you specifically listening. I don't know when you are online, but I could tell you that on average, if you're watching my videos, you're probably a guy from California who's usually online around about 4 to 8 p.m. my time, aged between sort of like 25 to 30. Like, just generally speaking, that is my demographic for the majority of people. Obviously, that's not everyone. That's like a big percentage. But it also tells me the channels that the majority of people who watch my content also watch. And I think that is like a really powerful thing. So what I've done is I've created another YouTube channel and subscribed to just those channels. So that any given moment,
channels?
The channels that other people who watch my videos also watch. And by doing so, what that means is I, just by like swapping over to that blank channel of mine, have the ability to access a subscription box that looks like 99 or 90% of my audience's subscription box. And that also, if I want to like have a sort of community level discussion, I can get a good feel for what my audience generally have been exposed to over the last kind of week.
Well, I mean, in analytics, it also says what the kind of videos your viewers are watching. So, well, first, you asked me, have I seen this interview with Mr. Beast and the guy? But then you just started talking about things that I know, because those are all things in the analytics. So I don't know if you were talking to me or the audience during that segment.
Both. If you didn't know it, now you do. And if you did, that's then great.
But what did the guy in Google say? He just said what was in the analytics, which all the YouTubers know?
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think a lot of people then think, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize my point was so rubbish. I think the
point was good for the audience, but you asked me specifically, hey, did you see this interview? And I'm like, but he didn't say anything new for a YouTuber, because YouTubers know all that.
Okay, but I mean, I'm a YouTuber, and I've only just, I'm thinking about, like, okay, but how do I apply that information in a...
He said go subscribe to all the people that you're
Well, he didn't say that, but that's what I've inferred through, okay, what does my audience want? Well, what are they watching currently? Like, that was the... Maybe I missed that bridge in the... Yeah.
While I haven't applied it, I know that the algorithm doesn't find viewers for the videos that you release. It finds videos for the viewers based on what they are watching and what they want to see.
Yes. And they sound like the same thing, but they're not.
Exactly.
They're different.
If you want to elaborate, you can. Maybe I said it in an understandable
way. You elaborate.
Basically, when you release a video, don't expect YouTube to be like, okay, now let me find people for an audience for this video that you just released. Because it's not that easy. No, it's the opposite. It's like... YouTube knows what the viewers are watching, what they want, and now the algorithm will scour YouTube for videos that exist that those people would like to watch.
Yeah.
Based on, and it will be in their recommended or their feed or whatever. So you have to, as a YouTuber, you have to monitor what people are watching instead of making a video that you think people will watch and then, expecting YouTube to send it to your subscribers. I mean, it will go to the subscription feed, but it may not go to the recommended feed or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like even people that everybody who watches YouTube knows this. But like when you're like like your feed. What's like not your subscription feed, but you're just like your feed.
Oh yeah, it's just like your I don't know. It's sort of your recommended.
Yeah. So it's like a lot of times it's like people that you aren't subscribed to, but you've watched like a lot of clips of or like videos of.
Oh yeah.
And it's like literally there are people that I'm not subscribed to, but I see every upload. Like every upload because I watch every upload, but for some reason I'm not subscribed. And that's how it works. That's how the algorithm works. It has nothing to do with.
It's really sophisticated. Like it's at a point in its evolution now. Like I remember when it was just long videos, just keep the watch time up, and then it was like, oh, and here's the really clever thing. If it watches someone else's videos, if someone watches a video after your video, and then it's like an ultra long watch session, your video will be rewarded, kind of thing. And there was like, and then just before that, it was just like, gosh, I remember the days when videos like didn't have thumbnails. Like the majority of videos just didn't have, like it was just a random screenshot from the video.
And it's coming back.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's like now in fashion to like underproduce content. People really, really like it. I've been just done on a thumbnail batch, and one of them is literally just a tweet because it's like, I think that will resonate with audiences better than whatever I could construct.
Talking about the thumbnail is a tweet. Yeah,
it's basically a tweet. It's a tweet. It's an image that I saw on Twitter of there's like obviously Arceus, and then there's the model of Shiny Larvesta. Have you seen this?
No.
Shiny Larvesta looks like very similar to Arceus, and there's a whole theory about Volcarona and stuff that I'm working on about like, and it's worshipped in Gen 5 and whatever. So, but for that, like that idea came to me because I saw the tweet. Lots of people saw that tweet. I actually think the better thing for the thumbnail is to just show the picture from the tweet of the two models side by side and just leave the explaining to the title.
Yeah, like I've seen a lot of thumbnails that are just two Pokemon, some text.
Yep.
Well, I mean that's everybody's thumbnail, but I'm talking about like literally on a white background, black text, like very easy to just read like a meme instead of like a thumbnail. I have never done it, and I have to start doing it. But then, I don't know. It's not like the things that I do, like the True Green 7 things that I do, make people watch like the video. Like they'll watch the video and enjoy it because maybe they like True Green 7, but they're not going to be like, wow, a True Green 7 thumbnail, I'm going to click on that. Or a True Green 7 title.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So I should so why am I doing these trends that don't really, like the things that I do as a YouTuber? Like I have my True Green 7 thumbnails, but the True Green 7 thumbnails aren't like thumbnails that make people click. It's just like,
I see what you're saying.
So why do
once you're in, and then you know, like you know a True Green 7 thumbnail, and
you know a True Green 7 thumbnail, but it doesn't make you want to click on the video.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, Ron's uploaded, cool, new video. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
and if I don't like the topic, and then if they don't like the topic, they don't watch it. Like I mean, this is both of us, and this is like a majority of YouTubers in general. But like, there are a lot of Poketubers that's like people watch any video they release, regardless of the topic.
Thank you.
They'll give it a chance. And you and me are not like that. We're brothers. And you're like, I don't want to be a brother, if that's what the brotherhood is. But yeah, we're not that. And it's like, so I really do still have to work on thumbnails and titles. Even though I guess people, there are YouTubers that get an audience regardless of what they upload, but still actually try in their thumbnails.
My housemate Dan has just started his channel now, like properly with Marvel Snap, and like I'm watching him. And by the way, this game Marvel Snap is free, and everyone should download it because it's actually great. I'm having the best time with it. Little side plug: they haven't paid me, but we
are not sponsored.
I am having the best time playing Marvel Snap. It's so good.
Yeah, I hear it's good.
It's great. But, you know, it's been really fascinating watching him work on his channel because I started in 2015 or whatever doing Pokemon YouTube. And so everything is an evolution from that point. Whereas, like, this is his starting point, really. Like, realistically, while he has done videos before, he has had experiences, this kind of new thing that he's doing, this is the starting point, and everything's going to evolve from here. And so he's got like I'm actually quite inspired by the way, like watching a new creator, I think is really, really inspiring because the way that they think about like starting and the game, and they think about thumbnails, and they think about what they want to do. It's so like invigorating, and it's like, oh, that's so fresh. Why didn't I think? Like, I think the beginning of all of Dan's videos right now are better than the majority of the beginning of my videos, because right now the YouTube ethos is to put that time into the first 15 seconds. It matters so much. Whereas
I don't. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know, but me neither. Like, because what I do is like an evolution of when I started, rather than like if I was starting today, I'd probably do the same thing. And I just think it's interesting. It's really fascinating to watch and very inspiring.
If I was starting, I would also like combine like short content, but like now, I don't like releasing shorts because then they appear on like your channel feed.
Yeah,
it's literally the only reason.
I know.
Like,
same.
If there's a separate tab, which they're rolling out, eventually it'll happen. But
like everyone says the same thing. Like, no, dude, you need to get on shorts, and I'm just sitting here like. Yeah, I know, Dad, like, I get it, I'll do shorts, I'll do it tomorrow, and then I never do, and I unlisted a bunch I did a year and a half ago just because, like, of that reason. I just didn't like how they looked on the channel. Wild. Yeah,
same thing, like, if there's a video that I just didn't do well, and it's just a concept I'm not proud of anymore, and I'll just unlist it. It's still, you can still watch them, and they're still in the playlist, so it's not like I'm deleting them, and, like, People just are always touchy about deleting content, even though it's my content. I can do whatever I want with it. But it's like, nah, it's still there. It's just
I get a lot of old content like shuffled away in a playlist at the bottom of my homepage called the archive, where it's all unlisted, but it's all in relevant playlists. And that's like, if people really want to see some old video from me, but I don't want YouTube recommending it, like it's like old content. It's not good for anymore. It's my favorite time of year for content. It's Halloween. It's coming up. And like, this is like an odd celebration that my channel does every year. And I think because Pokemon theories are rooted in like creepypasta anyway.
Yeah. 100%.
And like, I was always inspired by those creepiest Pokedex entries. This Pokemon will kill you from Vsauce and like all of the horror stuff. It's my favorite stuff on YouTube. So I got big plans for this week. Do you do anything like that? Like, do you at the holidays, or do you like Halloween? Do you do anything like that on the channel?
Rarely, because I never celebrate like Halloween or Christmas, right? So, but this year I definitely am. Like, just one video, one scary video. Like, but like, I associate like Halloween videos with like nostalgia.
Yeah. Same.
Just like Christmas, I guess. So I'm like, okay, let me release my first top 10 in a long time during Halloween, literally 2 days before, just like a classic, top 20 scariest Pokemon. But I like. You see the title and thumbnail, like, this is like the most basic, like 2016, maybe 2014 content, PokeTuber content. But it's like, but at first, I like the nostalgic vibe of the video that this is going to be. And also, it's very personal because like I have like these weird phobias compared to like other people, and they're all like visual based and like, I mean, we've talked about it in the Lost episode, in the Lost pilot, but. Like, they're like, when I tell you about things that I'm scared of, you'll be like, what the hell? How is that even possible? So that's why it's an interesting video for me to make. While, for someone else, it would just be like the classic, I don't know, Bayonet or something like that. For me, it's like odd Pokemon that you wouldn't even be scared of. And it's just funny to
I
hear
have a memory. The first video we ever worked on together, we did the name origins on your channel, and we did
on your channel.
It was a ghost video, right? It was a
Phoebe video.
Phoebe and her banette. And it was like, I've got this image in my head of this gradient background with like, it was just like blued pink. And then it's like got this banette and an image of the doll that it's inspired by. And like, I've got that like seared into my brain as like, it is a very nostalgic time. You do,
same.
You do April Fools though, right? That one you do.
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm famous for, at least on my channel. Yeah. Because it's like a fun excuse to do a video that I would never do. And sometimes I don't. It's like effortless. Like, okay, I get to release a video that I don't really have to work too hard on. But a lot of them I do have to work hard on. Like, there's been like huge collabs that I made for April Fools, or like a whole video where I created new Pokemon for April Fools, but they were just like normal objects and animals. Like, but I still had to draw them and like do it. So it's what's the point?
Was the one you did where you did the PokeTuber like impressions, was that an April Fool's or not? I can't.
So
remember.
I did a whole series where I was doing PokeTubers impressions, but then for April Fool's, it was the actual PokeTubers doing their own impressions.
Right. Yeah.
That was fun. if you have an idea for an April Fool's video for me, let me know.
That's the one time of year that he has a giggle, so that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the fun time. I liked your staircase video. That was the one that I remember being that really top tier.
Has traumatized me. We'll talk about that eventually, and or off the podcast, and or now, but I don't know. Because it's a whole story, of that video.
Well, we can talk about that now, or we can generate a Pokemon, or we can go wherever you want, Ron. It's your podcast as much as it is mine, just a little bit more mine.
Let's generate a Pokemon that could potentially go up some stairs.
Okay. If it can't, I'm going to feel bad for it, though.
Oh, no, this Pokemon could easily... Probably one of the best stair-climbing Pokemon around.
Okay, hang on. That Hitmonlee would be, the best stair-climbing Pokemon around.
No, but normal. Not, superpower, step...
Okay.
It would be harder for Hitmonlee to go up steps because it's he would go up steps a little too hard.
Go up all the steps. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Just a normal step climber.
A normal step climber? Is it like a Meditite or something? Didn't we
Dude, it's a Meditite! It's a Meditite!
No!
What?
No, wait, it's actually...
It's a Meditite! How do you do that?
What? You're kidding me. You're joking. It's
a Meditite!
No
Will you just share my screen?
I mean, kind of. I don't believe you. You're just having a giggle. It's not April 1st. What are you talking about?
I'm sharing my screen right now.
Hold up. Am I actually about to see a Meditite? Why did I think that? That was so wild. Okay,
yeah, because
sharing your screen with me. It's just
climb
loading
stairs
now.
or anything.
It's actually Meditite. Okay, but the funny thing is didn't we in one of the episodes or a lost episode? Did we not generate a Meditite already? Or am I being really dumb? I don't know why I'm thinking.
It does look familiar. No, we did Makuhita.
We did Makuhita, which is the other one. Dude, that's so wild.
The other one.
But I guess that confirms it, right? Because if you said this is an averagely good step climbing Pokemon, and I guess the Pokemon you're talking about, that proves that stair climbing in an averagely good way is a Meditite trait.
Yeah, and I thought that wasn't a good hint or anything. He's not gonna get it.
It's a terrible hint.
What the hell?
The odds of me guessing that were 1 in 805. That's nuts.
Because Meditite, there's the Meditite family is known for just discipline, exercise, I guess. So it's just stair climbing is the most basic discipline. You have to really commit to stair climbing if you want to stair climb.
It, yeah. Which Meditite?
I'm talking about the stair climbing machine. Exactly. Yeah, Meditite could probably meditate while climbing. He'll just go into a meditative climbing state.
But Meditite's kind of a bit of an odd Pokemon because it's very humanoid, and I was I was doing I haven't released this anywhere. This isn't going to become a topic. This is literally for my own benefit. I was walking around the little close I live in and taking note of all of the Pokemon that I think would live in the area that I live now. And there's a fitness center, a kind of gym, a CrossFit thing that's just a little ways from where I live off the close. And I was oh, there'll be loads of Meditite there. And then I'm that's the only example where I'm turning people into Pokemon. Every other example, it's there's hedgehogs, cats, whatever. But in this example, I'm and they're Pokemon, but they're humans.
Yeah, interesting. They didn't pick an animal to combine with meditation or anything, and they could have. That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
They just made a humanoid. It could be a monkey, I guess. Meditite.
I suppose. Yeah, that's true.
It's not. But. Although I would have preferred it being a monkey, a line of monkeys, I guess.
Yeah, I feel
meditating
that.
monkeys.
I never really. I think I was always team Makuhita and Hariyama over Meditite and Medicham, even though technically they're better because they got the psychic type as well, which is, I think makes them better.
Before I knew what Pure Power did, I just thought Medicham had low stats. When I looked at its stats.
What does Pure Power do?
It literally just doubles its attack and special attack.
Okay.
It purposely has low stats because the ability gives it.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm right about the ability. It definitely doubles attack.
It is a duo with Makuhita, is it, or is that just sort of a fan thing? Is it not really part of it?
You can find them in the same place. Yeah, I'd say they're not a counterparts like Persian and Arc and what's the Persian Arbok?
Why would Persian be with Arbok?
No, it's not. But there's a.
Do you mean Zangoose and Viper? What
No, those aren't counterparts. Those are just Pokemon that have a Oh no, those are counterparts.
They're version exclusives.
They are. They're both version. I'm talking about version exclusives. Those are a lot of them are counterparts.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No. Growlithe and Vulpix are the two on.
Yeah, but isn't Persian one of them with something else?
Could be. But off the top of my head, I don't know.
I know of like Growlithe and Vulpix, so I don't know why I even picked Persian. Persian is not one of them.
Huh.
Why am I dumb?
That's okay. No, it's okay.
It is.
You just didn't know one thing about Pokemon. That's fine. You know every other thing about Pokemon, so it's all good.
It's exclusive in the Generation 1 and 2, but not in Generation 3 in the remakes.
What's the Pokemon it's kind of parallel to in Gen 1 and 2?
Your mom. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that was just uncalled for and kind of out of the blue, honestly. Out of the red and blue, where the Pokemon exclusives are.
Back to Meditite.
Okay.
So the reason why it was still in my mind, the Medicham, was because of, do you know the Advanced Challenge opening?
Yeah.
Like there's a guitar solo for like a second during that time, and there's like a Medicham
to like it just kind of moves its head very
does
aggressively.
like the dance, the head bob.
Yeah.
It's just always in my mind that.
Always. When you sleep at night, when you wake in the morning, when
with
you're
those
in prayer.
luscious lips.
Yeah. I suppose.
I would think if I was going to like deliberately meditate as a huge Pokemon fan, I would think like Meditite, like this line would pop up in my mind. Like if a dumb animal can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Meditite has a diaper. You want to talk about diapers?
No, not really. We've already talked about meditation a lot.
Yeah, that's what's so annoying.
Well, can we talk about
Can't
tights?
really talk about that.
Can we talk about tights?
I like tights are nice.
Yeah, they are. Their tights are cool. They are. Okay, that's really the end of that discussion. I think that's about as much mileage as we can get out of that one. What do you think? There's a Mega Evolution for Medicham.
The Mega Evolution for Medicham is really good. I love that.
No, it is very cool. It's very super.
Oh, I mean, almost all Mega Evolutions are cool. That's one of my favorites, definitely. Oh well, I was going to talk about tights, but I guess
You can still talk about tights anymore. If you really want to talk about tights, we can still talk about tights.
Like the only reason I want to talk about tights is because, like, you know, like tights are usually part of like a dress code or something, or like, you know, just the absence of pants. Okay, apparently in England, pants means something else. I don't know what it means, but I'm going to use
underwear.
pants.
Pants is underwear. Here.
That's dumb. Shut up. Stop it.
That's what it is. If you say pants, I think of underwear. So when you say someone's
I have to say trousers.
Yeah, trousers is what some of you like. If you're talking about like a dress code, if you're talking about like uniform.
In dress codes, women usually wear, at least religious. Like for example, in my school, it was a religious school, so the women had to only wear skirts. So I was wondering about like your school's dress code. Like I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like because in the Scarlet Violet games, like everyone's in like this British uniform that looks maybe like a little bit too exaggerated to what I experienced, but like everyone does wear a
Scarlet
uniform.
Violet or Sword and Shield?
You've done the thing to me. I mean, Sword and
You've
Shield.
done the thing to yourself.
In Sword and Shield, they've all got the British uniform, but it's like it's like a over the top. I think it's a little over the top.
It looks good. Honestly,
it was a little bit over the top for what I think I experienced. It looked almost like a really fancy school, but like wearing a uniform. So like for us, trousers, or as you call them, pants. Everyone should be wearing pants, but trousers, and then like a shirt and a blazer and a tie was like where I was at. But some schools don't do the blazer. Some schools do it like a jumper instead. But a jumper, like you know what I mean by a jumper. Sweater. But yeah, so like, but I actually went to a school that was moving from sweaters to blazers, and we were the year before it was mandatory. So as new kids at school, Mum went, well, I'm not going to pay for a sweater now and then buy you a blazer next year. I'll just buy you the blazer now before it becomes mandatory next year. So new kids in the school, 3 of us are wearing blazers. I'm one of them. Everyone else is wearing sweaters. Stood out like a sore thumb. But I think the differences in Sword and Shield is they're like all embroidered with like cool outlines and stuff, which is like...
they're rich.
Yeah, they're like super rich kids in Sword and Shield.
Because they actually get to go to school instead of having to travel the world.
Which I don't even get why they're in uniform, because like the number one thing is when you're out of school and you're traveling the world playing Pokemon, the last thing you want to do is be in school uniform. Like the idea of like in America,
they're not. That's what I'm saying. They're the lasses and lads that you're battling who are wearing uniforms.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Scarlet and Violet now, or are we talking about Sword and Shield?
Sword and Shield.
Okay, so in Sword and Shield, yeah, all the lasses and lads wearing blazers and stuff in school uniforms, those aren't people traveling the world. Those are just people who are next to their hometown.
Hang on, they shouldn't be out of school. They can't be out of like they'll get in trouble. They shouldn't be like, what are they doing just on the Route 3 or whatever?
The Route 3.
On the Route 3 or the Route 2
where the bad kids go.
The Route 4, like that's where like they're skipping. Like someone's parents getting called to pick them up. But I thought we used to have like non-uniform days, which was like the coolest thing, which is like one day at the end of the year where you can go in wearing whatever you want. And the reason for having uniform, I think, is so that kids don't feel like if like a kid doesn't have like, if like they've come from a less affluent family or something, or maybe like, I don't know, they're just in a rough family, like people have different circumstances and no one wants to be made to feel bad because, oh, well, my kid wears this and your kid wears that and whatever. But like, what about you? Because you were in America, but you had uniform?
So I went to a private school, which I mean normally would mean that you would have uniform, I guess, because like public school you don't have uniform. But no, I didn't have uniform. I did in middle school, but in high school there was just a dress code. So like it wasn't like you couldn't wear whatever you wanted, obviously, but like yeah, you had to wear like guys only could wear button down shirts or polos. You couldn't wear like a t-shirt or anything.
Oh,
you had to wear long pants. You couldn't wear like short pants. The girls, they had to wear skirts, but other than that, like they could wear whatever shirt they wanted. Unless it couldn't be like low cut or whatever.
Right. Okay. Sure.
Which was like, so we didn't have like non-uniform day because we were technically always on non-uniform. Our non-uniform days were like pajama days and stuff like that.
Right. Yes, we did do that kind of thing. Once when we were really young, we did like a dress up day where we went in fancy dress, and that was so much fun.
That sounds nice.
I went dressed as Harry Potter, I think, because I looked a lot like him when I was younger. And I think every kid in 2000 was dressing up as Harry Potter. Like I think that was a common thing.
There were a lot of instances in our school where we would need to dress like formally, so that wouldn't be necessary, like a specific day. Like we would have like a lot of school events and stuff like that, and school trips that were like formal stuff.
Yeah,
it was cool.
It was something you asked me in a podcast ages ago about like why my hair is like particularly long, or like why formal wear is like something to rebel against. And I guess one of the things that's just popping to mind is like in school, like that, like we always have to wear formal wear, and school isn't a place that I associate with an awful lot of like, not hugely negative, but not hugely positive either. And definitely getting home from school and getting out of school uniform and putting on like your own clothes is a sense of like, I guess like what's the word? Like personalization, like self-expression. And so like breaking away from uniform stuff, that was always a thing. Like when you grow up in schools where everyone's wearing uniforms, is the people who are like rolling up their sleeves or having their tie loose or wearing wristbands or trying to get away with some dyed hair or a piercing, like rebelling against the form.
It's just so cliche and teenagery. Like as an adult, it's not cool. It's not cool for me.
That's okay.
It's very juvenile.
Well, maybe I am a bit juvenile. I'll be okay with that.
I mean, obviously, rolling up your shirt is not a problem because in adulthood that's what you do normally. But it's like doing that as an act of rebellion. It's just like it's so like it's like lame. It's like if you want to rebel, actually, commit crimes or something.
Not endorsed by the entire cast of the Carmine podcast.
Or just actually do like cool things. Don't like rebel in the good way. Like just be a cool role model. Do some cool art or something. I don't know. Don't like. I mean,
loosen your tie.
If you want.
Untuck your shirt. Undo one extra button.
It does nothing. It does nothing. It's like not a thing that will carry or will positively affect your life. Maybe you'll feel cool in the moment, but it's like I get like there was a lot of times where
you're arguing against literally no one. No one is going about their life as an adult going, today I stick it to the man and like loosening their tie.
It was just never a thing that I empathized with. Like when I see it in media, it's always like that's like such a cliche. But apparently people actually did it. But I think you become an adult when you realize to not like when to rebel and when to not rebel.
Okay.
Where it's like, if it's like something like arguing with your parent, for example, there have been a lot of arguments that I had like that would like repeat as like in like teenagehood, whatever, and nothing would happen. Like there was there was never a productive like conclusion to these arguments.
Okay.
So it's like I became an adult in my mind when I realized, let me just not argue about this thing. This like it won't help. So like now I implement that for so many things. It's like if I see that there's something that like I argue about with any like loved one like multiple times, like I can notice the trigger for that argument, stop doing that, and also like for example like there are a lot of times in my teenagehood. What's the word for teenagedom?
Teenagehood.
Adolescence.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Teenagehood? Whatever. Where like my dad would ask me to do something, like to like help him like carry something or help him like do something around the house, right? I would argue. I'd be like, this is annoying. I don't want to do that. And in the end, I would always do it. Like I would always have to do it. Like, so it's like, why? Like as an adult now, if he's gonna ask me to do something, I just do it. I just help without arguing, because I know nothing productive will come from like arguing about.
Sounds like your dad's just kind of a dick. I don't know.
I learned that if you just be silent after someone says something you don't like, they'll just
giggle.
Yeah, their mind will literally break. My sister watches this podcast. You want to apologize to
her? No, I didn't call your sister a dick.
I have to drink water because I'm sick. Don't keep that in.
Okay.
Usually you take that out.
Okay. Yeah, usually I would take you drinking water out of the podcast, correct?
Because it's offensive, and
I appreciate
some people don't have water.
Your mentorship. That's not why I take it out. I take it out because it's an odd sound. We don't all need that.
I enjoy the sound of sipping.
Okay.
I get like chewing or something like that. Or sipping is like a...
Yeah. Chewing's a horrible noise. People who chew with their mouth open need to like be like. I'm not polite enough to tell them, but like, I'm not rude enough to tell them. I'm too polite, but like, or no, I'm not too polite. I'm too much of a pushover. I really need to start telling people when they chew with their mouth open, please chew with your mouth closed.
I have a lesson to teach people, and it's not to keep your mouth closed while eating. Everybody knows that already. It's to not let things get out of hand, not to let habits get out of hand. And it's based on that. So for example, in school, I wouldn't eat at the cafeteria with all the other kids, at least in high school. I would, go to a club or just eat by myself somewhere. Like quickly, I'd eat quickly and then go back to, socializing. Because I didn't like being in like, in the cafeteria, you're like really close to each other while you're eating. Like you're like shoulder to shoulder sometimes.
I guess.
And teenage boys do not eat in a very civilized way sometimes.
No.
So I don't want to see them eat. I was always disgusted by people eating, at least during childhood. As an adult, people eat normally, but kids and teenagers do not eat normally, at least in my mind. Or at least in their element, like when they're in the cafeteria. If they're in like a formal dinner, they're going to eat nicely. That was the beginning of my social anxiety.
Whoa.
That heightened my, not because like it made me paranoid or whatever, but it's because it was just me taking myself out of socializing, and it just became a habit where it's like, it was okay for, like in my mind, it was okay for me to just like not socialize.
To separate you from others.
To separate myself. Yeah. If I didn't want to go to a party, I didn't have to go. If I didn't want to do this, I don't have to be there. And that made me even more introverted. It didn't make me socially anxious. It just made me introverted.
It's just like one of those building blocks.
I mean, I was always introverted, but like that was like, it made me okay to act on my introvertness. I mean, which is okay. Like you should be able to. You shouldn't like make it like a routine. Like every lunch, I'm not sitting with everybody, or like every party, I'm not going to accept going. So, and then slowly, like the straw that broke the camel back was being a YouTuber, but because like that was during a time where also in college I wasn't like accepting, like people would invite me, let's go after school, let's go to lunch or whatever. I would be like, no, I have to go commute back home and do schoolwork and YouTube, because I didn't, I had my YouTube job too, so it's like I did not have time to socialize. I should have taken my time out to socialize after classes in college.
Yeah,
because again, it wouldn't have made me isolated for 4 years, and then all my interactions wouldn't have been just online, which breaks your mind and makes you socially anxious, at least if you're already introverted. So yeah, things can snowball. Like like literally just the act of not eating at the cafeteria with your friends could snowball. Or even like physical things. For example, I'd say for like 10 years I would sit down while I peed.
I always sit down when I pee, but yeah, go on.
Okay, so for example, it's all started because literally the first week of first grade, 6 years old, I go into the bathroom, go to the urinal, and I don't know, there was another like a third grader or whatever, like looking at me while I peed. And I'm like, I didn't want that. I don't like that. So starting from the age 6 to literally 20, I would pee while sitting down, because I would go into first, actually, that's not the reason why I started peeing sitting down. That was a completely different reason. But that's why I used the stalls and never peed. That's why that's what started like my pee anxiety.
Shyness. I got that. That's what I got. I got shy bladder. I can't go standing up, so I just sit down.
Can't go standing up. I can't go while anybody's thinking of me or in the other room. I can't.
I can if I like really try, but it's just like more comfortable to like, sit down.
But also in my house. Okay, sorry, I wouldn't pee sitting down in public, because I don't want to. Why would I sit down on the toilet, on like a public toilet, when I could just stand and pee like a normal man? Because that would be like cleaner, I guess, at least, because in public you're peeing sitting down.
In a public toilet, I'll still find the stall. Like I'll still find like
I'll go to the stall, but I'll pee standing up.
I want the privacy, and I know that makes me a huge inconvenience to anyone who actually needs to sit down. But I'm also like, this is how I go. This is how I do.
Yes, exactly. So it's fine. But that also made me used to having very private pees, which means longer pees, which means now I'm also in my house sitting down on my phone while peeing 10 minutes on the toilet when I shouldn't be.
Marvel
When I can be in and out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that started confusing my brain. I start sitting down and my brain's like, oh, is it time to poop?
Wait, what?
And that's no, because this is where it snowballed. My brain now starts not knowing when it's time to go to the bathroom.
What?
Like number 2. And I develop irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. Where this is like my number 1 problem in life. Other than like my acid reflux, which came
you
after.
think that's caused by just having sat down a lot? Over the years?
Because IBS isn't irritable bowel disease. There's irritable bowel disease like Crohn's disease, which is like your actual intestines are like not okay, and you can't eat certain things, and your like body like will bleed. Like it'll.
Sure.
It's a physical element. But irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, it's like it's really just your brain not communicating correctly with your gut. Nothing like, I don't have any physical problems.
Whoa.
God.
Okay, I didn't even realize that.
Thank
That's
God.
wild.
It's literally my gut and my brain do not communicate perfectly. So I will need to go to the bathroom when I don't. Obviously, it's heightened when I'm nervous or like
anxious,
anxious, or I just obviously if I just ate something that will trigger it. But it's like I don't actually need to go to the bathroom, but now I will feel constipated, for example, and it's literally started because I would pee sitting down, and my brain would start thinking, oh, okay, now it's time I need to go to the bathroom, and I have to go number 2. So now I would pee, and then like for hours after that, I also I feel constipated because I tricked my brain into thinking, oh, it's poop time. I don't pee sitting down anymore. Like for the last 5-6 years, I don't do that anymore because of that. Not 6 years, 5 years, because I learned to not do that, and it helped. But now I'm stuck with IBS because of it. So if this is a good warning to anybody, stop peeing sitting down.
Could you get rid of IBS?
At least if you're male.
If IBS is about your
there,
no,
you can get there is no like cure, quote unquote cure. You can just like slowly you can
unlearn
know your triggers, uncondition yourself. I guess.
Okay. Get it.
But no, generally it's like you have IBS now. It's like same for like my acid reflux, where it's like this wasn't like a snowball thing. That's what's so annoying. Okay, maybe it is. Okay, so there were. I wouldn't eat a lot of sweets, for example. But when I did have sweets, like usually, like let's say on a holiday, whatever, I would binge it because I'll be like, a lot of sweets all at once. And you know, like when you have a lot of sweets, you start having like this chest pain, like it's like not like a sugar rush, but like it's like, that's a little too sweet. Like it's I feel it.
No, I
it hurts a little bit. Okay, well I have that. Maybe it's a genetic thing or something. I would have that. Like I would get to the point where like, I'm eating a little too much right now, and like it's so sweet. Like what's the feeling you get when something is really sweet? You don't get like a physical feeling. Like a
physical, it's the taste of sweetness, and it's nice. That's it.
Yeah, but there's sometimes like sourness sometimes is nice, but too sour is not nice. Savory is nice, but salty is sometimes nice, but it's not. All the senses, all the tastes and the flavors, you can't have too much of it.
Yeah,
it'll be overpowering. What's the overpowering?
I don't know that I've overpoweringly sweet. So like, if something's like sickly, I don't know. Like that's sickly. Really rare. That doesn't happen often. Like so, I don't really know, or I wouldn't really put something in my mouth like that often. So like, I can't really think. Huh?
You eat sweet things, right?
Yeah, I eat sweet things all the time, like every day. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I love sweets. Sweet's my favorite flavor. Or taste. Sorry, it's not a flavor. I can still eat sweets. That's not my story or my lesson. I would binge them so much that I would have like a chest pain. Okay. But then it would go away. It would go away like when I stopped eating the sweets. One day I just, it was night time, and I eat for like my snacks. It's always just like an unhealthy like dessert, at least in the past. Like a wafer or like a cookie or a cake, a slice of cake or whatever. Because I guess I have a slower metabolism, so it's like it doesn't hurt as much. I had just a normal vanilla wafer, and I started feeling the feeling just after one. But I kept on eating it because I know like I was recovered from this feeling. I started having this like heartburn, chest pain, and it wouldn't go away after a day. I'm like, okay, let me just take a Tum or whatever. It's lasted for an entire week.
What?
Chest, like a heartburn for an entire week. I'm gagging, I'm burping. It's not going away. I go to the doctor. They give me pantoprazole. It starts going away. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay, I don't have this chronic acid reflux. But literally a week, like literally the day, I'm like, okay, it's finally gone. My dad makes like a Thanksgiving dinner, basically. Like my favorite dinner is like a turkey dinner. But he just made it randomly, not on Thanksgiving. I'm like, wow, this is my favorite. Let me chow down.
I'm gonna get in on this.
Let me get in on this. Literally an hour later, my acid reflux comes back, and it stays forever.
Whoa.
And acid reflux, basically, I can't have acidic things. I can't have too oily things without like my getting heartburn that will last,
That's wild.
And will be intense. And that was 3 years ago. Again, just like the IBS, I know my triggers now. I'm also on a pill, and I've also started weaning off the pill, and I'm like 10 times better than I was in the beginning. I can even I can have pasta sauce, even tomato sauce, even without the pill. But I still can't have like raw onion or like lemon. That's like, I think that's like that's the thing that I have to resolve to not have anymore. I can't have like raw onion or raw lemon.
Interesting.
Weirdly enough, on the pill I can maybe have like a few sips of lemonade, but that's it. So like I'm back to normal. I can eat whatever I want on the pill. I can eat most acidic things off the pill, but not like acidic things.
When you say on the pill and off the pill, I don't know if this is like an American thing.
I'm talking about the birth control pill.
You're talking about contraceptive pill so that you don't get pregnant when you eat an onion, which makes sense because that would be my fear.
They have layers. They have layers. So they'll
if you get one,
multiply.
That's how you get pregnant. I got a thing like this.
Yeah, that's why babies smell.
And I don't know if anyone else has this. I've never spoken to anyone about this. Only Phoebe knows about this. I'd be fascinated to know what you think. I cannot eat tuna with carbohydrates of any kind.
What? Like a bread?
Tuna and bread? Tuna and bagel? Tuna and a roll? Tuna and rice?
What you eat tuna with?
Nothing anymore. I just can't eat because tuna by itself, absolutely fine. The moment I eat it with carbs, what I find happens is I get this heartburn sensation, and it's like it won't digest properly or it won't like break down properly because I start get like hiccuping. And like even if I eat it slowly, even if I eat it super slowly, I'll just start hiccuping and I'll find it really hard to like get rid of that sensation. And it's just, I can eat bread fine, I can eat rice fine, I can eat tuna fine.
That is
the
weird.
moment I merge rice and tuna or bread and tuna.
What about any other fish in bread?
As far as I know, fine. Like I have like, you know, salmon fine on toast.
What if it's like
I just
raw tuna? What about raw, like sushi on?
Oh, I actually
tuna?
don't know. I don't really eat raw tuna, so I don't know. This is just sort of tuna and brine kind of in the can.
What about like not like the tuna in a can is like what, like diced? Not diced, but
it's like mushed. It's sort of
mushed.
Like yeah. Like that's the kind that I have a problem with.
A fresh piece of tuna that you grill or bake.
I don't really do that, to be honest. Like,
we'll do it.
I'll give
you don't eat, wait, do you not eat, do you eat fish?
Yeah, I eat. Well, the kind of fish that I normally eat is either tuna or salmon. That's the kind of typical household thing.
But you just said no. I'm talking about like fish, not like canned fish.
Yeah.
Normal fish.
So just
you
salmon.
Said you don't.
Just salmon then.
Oh, so that's salmon. If you're eating fish, it's salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't eat tuna. Now that I think about it, I don't eat tuna, like grilled tuna or anything.
Right, yeah.
Like that's gonna be like a
if I was at a restaurant, like someone might, and I might order the tuna steak or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if anyone in the chat knows what that's about.
Oh, tuna steak is really good.
Yeah. As far as I like remember, like it is. It's been a while. To be honest, I don't get too experimental with fish. Like it's just kind of there's a lot of seafood is either really hit or miss for me. But like we love salmon. Really like salmon.
Yeah, because if I had an intolerance, I would start like experimenting.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it literally only comes up in this niche scenario, so who knows?
Although, okay, that would be annoying for me because so I have IBS, so that means I have to start eating a lot of more fiber, so my body actually can go to the bathroom when it needs to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So like 4 years ago, since 4 years ago, my diet is way more fiber heavy than the average person, right? A lot of fiber. So. But like meals that have fiber, for example, burritos or like fiber bread with tuna, for example. Uh-huh. But then I get started like a year later I have IBS. A year later I have acid reflux, so I can't have onions and tomatoes, which is what you put in a burrito, or like or like in a sandwich.
Yeah.
So it's like now I have to like all the things that are good for my IBS are bad for my acid reflux, and vice versa. It's like what the hell? So it would be so like now I say for like 2 years. I got tired of it like half a year ago, so I don't eat it as much anymore. But like for like 2 years, half of my lunches were just a tuna sandwich and like fiber bread. So if I couldn't have tuna and bread, that's it. I'm done. I can't have anything anymore. But like again, I'm back to relative normal. So like again, like the first year I went hard. Like once I found out I had IBS and then acid reflux, I went hard on the diet. So then I can recover and then slowly build back my tolerance to some foods. That's what I recommend to anybody who can't eat specific foods anymore. Just cut them out completely and then slowly bring them back in.
Bring them back in slowly but surely. I don't think there's anything like that I have like an intolerance to other than perhaps this. There are certainly foods that I don't like. There are flavors that really don't sit right with me at all. Walnut is one, like a lot of the nuts, hazelnuts, walnuts, that really bother me. Coconut I hate.
You're talking about just bother you, not physically.
That's the stuff that like bothers me. Yeah, there's nothing other than that, the tuna and bread or tuna and rice that cause like a internal reaction where I'm like, oh, this is awful. That I know of, you know.
You ate coconut, right?
Yeah, I really don't like coconut.
Coconut, hazelnut. This guy doesn't like. When I found out, I screamed at him. I slapped him.
You did.
I'm like, snap out of it, dude.
Because people who love coconut. It's mostly the coconut shavings. There are like I can drink coconut milk, fine, but like
that's not coconut. That's coconut milk.
Yeah, right. But like, yeah, the actual flavor
it's
of
like
the coconut and the shavings.
It's like drinking milk is eating a cow.
I hate steak, but I'll drink milk. But like, I hate steak. Yeah. Oh man.
What else don't you like?
This podcast.
Okay, guess it's done. Bye.